Hey there, it's Isaac from Powered by Rock here to bring Troy Cook from the punk band Ready, Set, Survive and the host of the Palapalooza podcast into the spotlight for a few minutes and make him sweat with some on-the-spot questions. Welcome, Troy. Are you ready to be put in the spotlight?
Already sweating.
All right. So as a San Diego native who represents the city quite well, what are your top 3 favorite bands from the city or surrounding areas, active or past?
Oh, man, that's a good one. So I might as well say these guys because I'm wearing them, right? Aviator Stash, doing really cool things, great music, they hustle. The Rough, great music, they hustle, they work hard. And, dude, I got to say Nights Like Thieves.
Okay.
I got 100% say Nights Like Thieves. And then I do have to shout out Unwritten Law, man. I mean, just growing up.
I said 3, goddammit.
I know. Hey,
I knew you were going to say
I'm usually hosting, and I get this all the time from guests. Like, I give them specific orders, and they don't fucking listen. No. Can we cuss?
All right. It's all good. It's all good. I'll just edit that one out there and be like, Unwritten Law, you got enough attention.
Yeah. Yes. They have. They've got.
All right. Question number 2. Now, as a fellow podcast host, I say it's probably difficult sometimes to know who your favorite guest is, or say, it's your own show. So they're all like your children in some sense. So it's like hard to say who's your favorite guest or what's your favorite episode, but I'm going to ask you because I want you to be honest and tell me who is your favorite guest on the Palapalooza podcast?
The Montel Jordans. Bam.
Okay.
Nice and easy. And I do have to shout them out too, because they're such rad guys. They're friends. They're an amazing band. The Montel Jordans, they get the most shit-faced award on the podcast. They came in pretty buzzed up. They left hanging from the rafters of my ceiling. My wife does aerial silks in our house. Okay. So we have a silk hanging down from the top of our ceiling. And these guys were like the only ones of any of the 200 bands that I've had at my house that came in my house afterwards and were like hanging from the ceilings of this aerial silk.
That's hilarious. And I'm assuming they weren't as graceful as what your wife usually does.
They really sucked. They really blew it, dude. Yeah,
how did you
funny.
Swing on this thing?
Yeah, they were, dude. Tim's a little guy, dude. He's the lead singer. He kills it, and he was like dangling upside down, like just hammered, like having fun. And that sort of like is representative of their live show, like one of the more fun live bands that I've seen in San Diego. And they're just, if you haven't checked them out personally, Isaac, you should do the Montel Jordans.
I haven't. I've seen them from your show, but I haven't actually checked out the music, so I will definitely do that.
You'd like it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Number 3. Not everyone will know this, but San Diego is just across the U.S.-Mexico border from Tijuana, Mexico, also known as TJ. So what's the craziest thing? I'm assuming you've been there. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen or done in Tijuana, Mexico?
Dang. So, yeah, I went there underage, of course, because that's what you do in San Diego when you're in high school and you want to get hammered and go to bars. You go to Revolucion. Yep. And there's a bar called Safari there. And I just remember like the tequila girls with whistles going around. No crazy stories, but I will say my brother went down there. We've never been back since. He got the shit beat out of him down in Mexico, and maybe he deserved it. But it was we can laugh at it now, but it was pretty intense back then.
Yeah.
He got totally like cold clocked with like a 40 bottle or maybe just a beer bottle. Like any city or bar, it can be a little dangerous down there. But I do recall, taking taxis. Do you know what those are, kids? Taxis. I took a taxi down to Mexico back in the day in high school, and we just get shit faced. It's good call on that one, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming there's some crazy shit. I mean, all you ever hear about Tijuana, Mexico is how crazy stuff is. I've actually never been there, even though I've been to San Diego several times. I'm like, I should go check it out. I hear the beer is good there.
I'll be honest with you, dude. Like I've talked with several of my podcast guests are from Tijuana, Mexico, and I asked them, like, how is Tijuana these days? You hear about cartel cutting people's heads off and all sorts of crazy shit. And they compare Tijuana to like, you wouldn't know, like North Park, like a classier like brewery type environment. So I think it really has come a long way.
I think the observatory's there, right?
I think there could be. Yeah. We opened, fun fact, my band 20 Year Fix back in 2005-ish opened for Strung Out in Rosarito at Papas and Beers. So that's a little further south of Tijuana, but
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some venues in Tijuana that are legit. I think it's called the Mustache. I haven't played them, but I hear that bands play them. So, yeah, shout out TJ.
Very, very cool. All right, so this one's going to be a little bit more. You might have to think about this for a second. Maybe not. Maybe you already know all the bands that you would put on this lineup. But if you could put together a themed concert to best match the zombie apocalypse kind of theme that Ready, Set, Survive music projects kind of embed or, kind of portray, what other two bands would be on that bill and what would be the set order?
Oh, man. You're putting me on the spot here, dude, for sure. So it would have to be
spotlight, goddammit.
It would have to be in my yard, right? Obviously, just put it in my backyard, and I'd
Sure.
set up some Halloween decorations back there. Local bands. So, dude, we gotta put on the Frights.
Okay.
The Fright. I'm trying to think. Oh my god, you totally put me on the spot. There's a couple like horror themed bands that are I'm totally blanking, dude. It's so bad of me.
This is the whole point of this in the spotlight. It's supposed to make you sweat.
Right. Okay, let's say the Midnight Block for sure. That's a horror punk themed band.
Okay.
Midnight Block. I'll throw them on.
So I'm assuming you're closing the night out since it's your house.
Ready, Set, Survive has to close, dude.
Yeah.
The Jasons, I shouted them out in our full length episode. They all wear these types of masks, and they rock out. But they are not from San Diego. They're from the East Coast.
We could bring them in for support.
Yeah, they are sort of local bands. So let's just do
get
those
some
two.
free food, and you can sleep on top of the pool.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Dude, there's a band that I'm totally blanking on that's totally horror. The Writhers. God, that was going to bug me. The Writhers. They're totally rad. They did our Halloween episode last year, Robert Writhe, and they are full-on horror themed. I'm sorry, guys, if you're watching this and I forgot you. So yeah, it'd have to be like the Writhers and Midnight Block. I feel like are like the horror punk rock bands here in San Diego.
I will say this wasn't as embarrassing as when I had Adam Lorbach from Radical and Homegrown on. We presented him the award for Best New Artist on our 2021 award show, and he forgot all the rest of the band members' names.
In his own band?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Adam, you got me beat, buddy. Yeah, I usually don't do that, but yeah, it's totally blanking there. But yeah, good question, man. I would love to do that. We've been known, Ready, Set, Survive, to throw Halloween shows here in San Diego. It's been a couple years, but we've done one at Brick by Brick. We've done one up in Legacy. Rest in peace. So yeah, great question, dude.
Cool. Well, here's a better one, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, come on.
Number 5. Okay, so let's say there is a real zombie apocalypse. How long do you stay in the realm of living before being bitten or whatever infected? And how are you eventually taken down?
Wow. So I've kind of given some of this some thought. Yeah. It could strike some of your listeners the wrong way, but I own guns. I have, I was into guns and shooting. And so I do have some high-powered guns, let's just say.
Sure.
So I think I would be camped out, if this is answering your question. I think I'd be camped out. I know the exact spot I'd be in my backyard where I have like a great view from miles away. I'd have my scope out, and I think I would just stock up my barn with some dried goods and water, and just camp out in the yard with my rifle with the scope.
All that aside, you're still going to get bitten eventually. That's how the apocalypse works. How long does it take, and how's it going to happen? How are they going to finally get to you? You can't live alone by yourself and nobody else ever get infected near you. So somebody's going to get bitten. Something's going to happen.
I think I'd probably eventually have to like make a trip down to like 7-Eleven for some like Twinkies. I got to shout out Zombieland. I think I'd give in. I think I'd risk death for like some Sour Patch Kids at 7-Eleven. So I'd probably like make a trek down Bradley Avenue with rifle in hand, and I think I could probably go like 2 days, couple days, where finally that sugar craving would kick in. I'm a sugar guy, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because a lot of people might think, oh, well, obviously my wife's going to get infected and she's going to bite me or whatever, and I'm not going to know she's infected yet. You went the route of I'm basically just going to die because I've got the sweet tooth.
Well, it's funny you say that because my wife infected me with COVID. She was like the most paranoid on the planet.
That would have been
dude.
the easy answer. Like, she's already got me once.
Yeah. Yep. That would have been the better. Yeah. She would get it and give it. Yeah. And come home and attack.
Like, honey, come here. I got to tell you something.
I can see that happening for sure.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much, Troy, for being on the podcast today and for, stepping in the spotlight. Guys, make sure to go to the episode notes below this to check out the link to the new EP from Ready, Set, Survive called Aim for the Brain. It'll be out now. And also go check out the Palapalooza podcast that Troy hosts. It's very cool. You can go check it out on YouTube and, other places as well, but the links will be below this episode. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. Troy, thank you so much for being here. Until the next episode, guys, rock on.